My name is Phil Balagtas. I'm a UX designer researcher for GE Aviation, and we're here at the Loving Cup in Hayes Valley, San Francisco. I just want to talk about the problem with designers today. So I've had a few friends who've asked me recently about the state of UX, and they're making transitions into becoming a designer. They've either gone through some kind of design school and they came out, they thought they could be a UX designer, ended up being a researcher or a prototyper or a strategist, and they want to get into what they think is like pure UX. And it's kind of interesting because in San Francisco, you can just walk down the street and get a degree or certification in UX design. You can go to General Assembly and spend a few $1,000s in a couple months and walk out of there and call yourself a designer. You can go over to Cooper and take 2 days of UX boot camp and call yourself a designer. Or you could go to a place like Tradecraft and you spend maybe 4 months working as an intern and then some classroom, and you come out and call yourself a designer. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I wish that I had that when I was becoming a UX designer. But I think what I'm starting to notice a lot of in the field is, it's great that we have so many designers because there's so many problems that I think we need to solve. But the quality of design, I think, is sort of getting diluted. So it's just like, when the whole DJ thing became really popular. Back in the 80s, 90s, you had a lot of, it was kind of scarce, and you had people playing vinyl. And then the CD came about, and then the digital DJ came about, and then MP3s came about. It became really cheap to buy music, and then everybody and their mother was a DJ, and the whole scene became watered down. And not to say that there's a bunch of terrible designers out there, but what I really believe, and I think everyone who's in this field should be doing or practicing or having as a principle, is that no matter where you get your inspiration and where you get your degree or whatever, there's two qualities: rigor and attention to detail. And those both add up to being a great designer, because you can be a great designer in any discipline. You can be a great designer in the industrial field, a 2D designer, 3D designer, interaction designer, but it's actually about designing everything. So rigor, you've got to have curiosity and courage and guts to continue to try things. Okay, so like you go out and you talk to a couple people and you say, all right, I'm looking at this problem, give me some requirements, I'm going to go and design an app. That's not enough. You've got to have the blood and the sweat and the tears to go out and talk to many people and figure out, is this the right problem? Is this the right thing to solve? How do I solve it? And even within the design process, where you're actually coming up with the idea and figuring out how do we solve this and fit it into this landscape and into this user's problem, go through lots of iterations. So there's a lot of rigor that I think people need to come up with a great idea, to find the right problem and come up with the right idea that fits that problem. So that's one thing. And I think no matter where you learn your craft, if you pick up a book or you watch a bunch of YouTube videos, if you understand that and you apply that, that's going to make you a strong designer. And then there's the attention to detail. You're not a designer if you're not putting detail into anything. So, it's the small things that matter, from the micro interactions to the font, the typeface, the shadow on it, the color of the button, the whole page, the whole product, the whole environment, the whole service. Everything that it touches, everything that it exudes and influences and is influenced by, I think, matters. And that's detail. And with all of that, you're designing everything. So I talk about this idea of the full stack designer. So we talk about the UX processes involving everything from research to strategy to concept design to creating wireframes, coming up with a bunch of ideas, throwing them out in the field, testing them, doing usability testing, shipping it, and there's this whole gamut of things that you should probably know if you're going to be a designer. But not everyone is really good at that. But not everyone has to be, and not everyone has to be this unicorn where they know everything really good, really well, and are really effective at it. But if you have the curiosity to understand or want to understand each part of the process, you become a lot more rounded. And so when you're thinking about so for the seasoned designers who want to understand okay, what am I supposed to do next? What field should I be going to? Where should I be strengthening skills? I would look at the broad spectrum of where you could actually have an impact with design. From the little things to whatever it is, the app, the product, to the big things, the service, impacting government organizations globally, however big, however large you want to make the problem. But as long as you understand applying that process to every level of scale, I think you'll be strong. And for some of the new designers who are coming out there and they have all these little bits of process and they want to get experience, I wouldn't just go out there and just do a bunch of wireframes and do a bunch of freelance projects and say I'm a designer. I would try to really think about full stack and think about being strong and being curious about strategy. How can I actually impact business decisions or sales decisions? That's something we don't really do these days. So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of programs out there, and I think there are a lot of really excellent people teaching these programs, a lot of great schools that are just focused on interaction design. And I'm so happy that they're out there doing that. But again, every designer that comes out of there should understand that you should have rigor and you should design everything. Everything matters. Optimal Workshop is awesome. Check out their products.